In this episode, Dale and Val speak to Michelle Banner, who will be presenting at the Project Controls Expo virtual this September. She will be presenting about soft skills don't make money. For more information, visit projectcontrolsexpo.com to grab a ticket to the expo. And for more in-depth information on the podcast, visit projectchatterpodcast.com. Now, on with the pod.
Hi, Michelle. Welcome to the show. Now, please tell us. I love your title for this, by the way. We're just having a joke, a bit of a laugh about this because it is a leading title. What can we expect from your presentation at the Project Controls Expo this year?
So yeah, the presentation title is, soft skills don't make money. And I'm going to be talking about the fact that we focus so much on technical skills, quite rightly so. Don't get me wrong, they are really important. It's really important to understand how you build an estimate, how you build a schedule, conduct risk analysis, and all those really good things that we do. But we don't have an equal footing of those softer skills or those essential skills at the table. And I think that's wrong. I think that those skills can really make a difference on whether a project delivers successfully or not, and whether you can really enhance and make money for your business.
Yeah, great. And Michelle, what is it? What is a soft skill? I mean, it's a pretty broad term, but what does it mean to you?
The term soft skills is a bit too fluffy for me, I think, but they are more the essential skills. So they're things like adaptability, resilience, how do you build a team? How do you communicate effectively with people? All those kind of things that people think, oh, they're all nice to have and they're a bit kind of fluffy. But they're integral to how you extract that data from people, how you ensure that what you produce really stands up to scrutiny. How do you deal with that really bad-tempered site manager that won't tell you anything because you're going to go off and tell tales to the project manager about progress and all that kind of stuff? How do you use your wily cunning to extract those information? It's all about building those softer skills, the relationships, and adapting your style to get that information out of people. And it's something we don't tend to teach or tend to really focus on in the development of our project control professionals, in my opinion. And it plays such an important role. It really does.
Michelle, I am so glad you are talking this year at the Project Controls Expo because I 100%, and I speak for Dale as well, believe in what you're talking about. We are absolute advocates for that soft skill or that fusion skill, or the things that people don't necessarily bring to the surface, but brings everyone together. I remember when I was younger, someone asked me, what do you think project management is? And I said, I don't think it's project management. I think it's people management. And that's the way I kind of described what you're talking about today. Yeah. So I'm going to hand it to Dale because Dale obviously is very passionate about this subject as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Not often I agree with Val. Let's just put it that way. But yeah.
Well, I'm glad I've brought you together then in agreement with something.
Perfect.
Yeah, you've exercised some soft skill, Michelle, bringing us together. No, jokes aside, it is something we are both passionate about because at the heart of it, it is something being done by people for people. End of the day, whatever project you're involved in ultimately has a benefit for people, right? Regardless, there is a link. Whether you think it or not, whether you're sitting in a room at a computer and not dealing with anyone or not, what you are producing has an impact on people ultimately. So at the heart of it, at the core of it is people. But just bringing it back, so you mentioned soft skills for project controls. And I think it's a hugely important place to start because we often say controls is the integrator, it's the glue, it reaches all parts of the project, from delivery to engineering. You have to interact with finances, commercial, etc. The sponsor, stakeholders, the works, contractors, clients, whatever position you're in, you're interacting and interfacing with all of these various aspects. So you need these soft skills. But I'm wondering if it's a bit wider than just controls, and maybe controls is a starting point. So for your presentation, is it purely aimed at controls? Is it bespoke for controls folk, or is it something that anyone involved in projects can come along and have a listen to?
I mean, obviously it's going to be geared up towards a project controls community because that's what the expo's all about. But I don't believe that those skills are exclusive. I think you could, use that element and that learning from anything really. These are quite generic skills that are used to deliver any project, whether you sit on the engineering side, the client side, project management, whatever it is. I think they're all ways in which we should be working together for that outcome. Like you said, these projects are there to help people. They have a people at the heart of them. And I think there'll be people outside of the project controls arena that will get a lot out of it too, if I do say so myself.
Well, this is the fantastic thing about it, I think, is that although it's the Project Controls Expo, I think we are attracting more than just project controls professionals,
Absolutely.
which is fantastic. Now,
Definitely.
my next question is, in your opinion, where does it start? Because we've spoken to a number of people, and some think it starts at the top. Some things it needs to be bottom up in terms of changing the culture and instigating, with your trendsetters. Others think it's middle outwards. What is your view?
I don't think it starts at either end. I think, in isolation, I think it has to go from top and bottom, and as well as everywhere. That meeting from the middle out is a good analogy for it. I think it starts with, when we talk about our next generation of project controls, people coming in, this should be at the heart of what we're doing as part of their education, their qualification, all that kind of stuff. And I know that obviously it's been brought into the apprenticeships that are out there at the moment, but as organizations, businesses, we need to really kind of put a focus on it. So that takes the individuals asking, the people in projects, as well as coming top down from that culture too. I think long gone are the days where it's like, I'll bang on the table and I'll get what I want kind of thing. We have to work differently. The world is a very different place to what it was 30 years ago. And we need to adapt with that, and take some of the almost like the masculinity out of it, isn't it? People assume that it's all, well, it's just fluffy kind of stuff, it's not really important, but it's so important. So I think everybody has to be participative in that change and doing the right thing with the use of those skills.
Yeah, absolutely, 100% agree with you again, especially in this virtual world we're dealing in today, where you have to have additional soft skills because you're not physically around to put your arm around someone and physically take them for that coffee. You have sort of that limited time frame where you set up this meeting and it starts here and ends here, and when you switch off, you don't see each other, and there's no that post meeting chat when you're walking back to your desk or anything. Let's go grab lunch together. And so we have to develop. Now, talking about development in your presentation, and don't give it away if you are, but will you be talking around where companies can go and grab some of these soft skills or get their people trained up, or perhaps the top 10 or top 5 soft skills they should be concentrating on?
You'll have to come and have a look at the presentation, but yeah, the element of development will be in there. Absolutely, it's about that kind of complete cradle to grave kind of thing. What you can do at every stage in your career to kind of enhance those skills and enhance our profession at the end of the day, because that's what we're here to do. I think project control sometimes gets a bit of a raw deal, and that's not because I've got a big chip on my shoulder about it. I just think people, it's just data, you just sit there hitting F9 and stuff like that. We've got so much more to do that, and I think it's about making sure that collectively we can really raise a profile of project controls too, and it's a great forum to do it at the Project Controls Expo.
Yeah, I totally agree. Val, Michelle is not giving away anything. What are your thoughts about this?
Completely agree. And I love the title because I think people will be engaged by that. But I also think, for those that have gone out there and they've said, well, Michelle, just playing devil's advocate, I've done the leadership course, the 2-day training. I think I've got all the software and all the skills I need after my 2-day certificate. I can show you that if you like. What do you say to those guys?
I think formal education is a great place to start. You've got to put it in practice. It's within you. It's innate with you as well. It's about kind of putting those into practice and the experience that gives. We're continually learning about these things. What I would have done 10 years ago in a situation isn't necessarily how I would act now in a situation. There's no right or wrong, but you need to be continually consciously aware of these skills and consciously aware of how you collaborate with people, how you talk to people. How do you tactfully challenge somebody when you know that the data's telling you something's not quite right? How do you what skills do you use to really wheel into those details and stuff? That has to be done by practice and by making it a part of your everyday kind of working environment, about how you extract things rather than just being robotic in your nature of just dealing with data. We all love a bit of data, don't we? That's what we're in this profession for. So, but you can't be robotic about it.
No, and I completely agree. I also think that, we spend a lot of time negotiating and influencing in project controls, yet we're not taught how to negotiate and influence.
No.
And so you're left to your own devices to really sell an idea that is, hey guys, the project's not doing very well. Well, that's great. But that's just academic, as I've been told before in my previous project controls life. So we need these skills, don't we, Michelle?
Absolutely. You're always the bearer of bad news. So from a personal perspective, how do you build that resilience to not be kind of defeatist all the time when someone's just saying, I don't want to hear it, Michelle. I don't want to hear that we're behind or overspent or what have you, because no one likes to deliver that news. It's not a very nice message, but someone has to stand up and do that. And it's about kind of getting those skills in place, teaching those skills to be able to say, do you know what, I'm right here, I'm doing the right thing ethically, morally, or whatever it is by the company to ensure that they remain a viable kind of outfit, and all that kind of stuff like that is really, really important. You know, you've got to do that, and it's something that you don't tend to think of as a really important skill in project controls. We're always the bearer of bad news. We're always the bad guys, aren't we?
Yeah, well, I think we kind of termed the phrase with someone else, the critical friend. You know, there's someone that's like, no, do I look good in this shirt? And they said, no, you look terrible. So, you know, we need to have that honest conversation. And I think through proper support of these soft skills, as you're going to be presenting at the Project Controls Expo, these guys are going to understand a little bit more and maybe get a bit more awareness. Is there anything else you want to leave us with on that point?
Just, I think that, you know, the whole point of being able to ensure that you can deliver messages in a kind of really constructive way is the key to a lot of all of this stuff, isn't it? You don't have to be difficult about it. You're not being difficult. It's about dealing with things and seeing what's in front of you as well, and adapting to that situation, to that person or that individual, and reading the signs. Again, you know, they're difficult. It is hard, but it's achievable, definitely.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Dale?
Yeah, no, it is it is something that we definitely agree with. Val, yes, you look great in that shirt. It's, you know, don't doubt yourself. You look good.
Thanks, man.
Michelle, we have a bit of fun as well, as you can tell. Just two more from me that popped in before we sort of head towards the end. I was just wondering, is there a measure of success when it comes to soft skills? Do we know when we've applied soft skills correctly? How do we know?
I think it's really difficult. I think a lot of people will say it's difficult, and that's why I think, you know, sometimes people steer away from it because it can't be measured. You know, it can't be, or people perceive that it can't be measured. I think for me, a measure of success would be, you know, are we in a position where someone feels comfortable in that environment, delivering that difficult message, and isn't kind of in a position where they feel awkward or stupid or what have you. Or equally, there's that open environment where you can really challenge the data. You know, are you sure you're telling me the truth? Are you really going to finish that activity on Friday? I'm not so sure that you will. And have that open environment and kind of get that ethos where people are coming to you with data, people are coming to you with that collaboration, those kind of skills. Therefore, it would be a good measure for me on that project. And I think you sense that, don't you? There might not be any statistical kind of skills that say, yes, we've been a success for, you know, we're going to measure all these things. But I think equally, you can get a sense of it on a project or a program where you think, yeah, we've nailed this. We've got this culture right. We've got the development and the integration of these kind of essential soft skills on there. That means that we're all working in the same kind of way. It sounds cliche, but you're all working to that goal with no blame, no kind of you know, criticism around there. I think that's a good measure for me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, you talk about just that array there as well of skills we need to apply from the technical through, as you say, the soft skills that you listed. And, you know, on our main Project Chatter podcast, we spoke to a number of guests. There were 2 episodes actually on fusion skills. So that's amazing as well. But I just wanted to ask you one final one in terms of a sort of an industry-wide view, or maybe across various organizations. Do we know of any organizations or perhaps industries that are better with soft skills than others, or maybe switch it around? Are there some industries that are lagging behind versus others?
I think it's like everything. It's a mishmash, isn't it? You know, you get pockets of really, really good stuff, pockets of not. You know, from my perspective, the company that, you know, I work for, Project Control Solutions, has really got that environment's instilled. It's there. It's part and parcel of what we do. But I wouldn't like to sort of suggest that any particular industry is behind, because you'll find people doing it well. You'll find people doing it better. Again, it's these people that get in the way, don't they, of these things. Everyone's different. And you're going to find, even in the same organization, you're going to find pockets of good and bad, or what I perceive to be good and bad in those organizations. Other people may not, but you're going to get that all the way. I've seen throughout my career, I've seen elements of it. I've seen lots of good elements of it.
No, absolutely. And I think you're right. You know, maybe it is perception, because maybe some people just don't know that they're not good at with soft skills, and maybe that they just don't know they don't have that full array, and that the style they have is too authoritarian, blah, blah, blah. But hopefully through mediums like this, with, you know, this podcast, and also through the expo, your talk, and it will spread. So any final thoughts, though, that you want to leave the listeners with before we finish off?
No, just, you know, I think the whole thing is about embracing this kind of challenge your own perceptions of what you think these softer skills are, or these essential skills. Like I said, I want to move away from that soft skills term. It's a bit mince, isn't it? You know, but challenge yourselves about it. You know, be that self-aware, use that bit of that emotional intelligence to be able to kind of understand how you can use that to make things not only more successful in your projects, but for you as an individual as well. Absolutely. But come along and listen. Come along and listen to me talk about these really good stuff.
Let's just call them people skills,
essential skills.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
There we go.
Michelle, thank you so much for your time. We look forward to your show at the
problem.
expo.
Thank you very much for having me.